Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're breaking down the May 2026 B2B Tech Select Report on the best CPQ e-commerce agencies. Now, if you're a B2B leader, an e-commerce director, or a CTO, you already know that slapping a configure price quote tool onto your storefront is no longer just a simple user interface upgrade. In 2026, it's an absolute architectural beast. So we're going to take a totally independent, analyst-style look at the market to figure out exactly who you should trust with your digital transformation. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the state of CPQ. Then, evaluating the top agencies. Third, why Elogic Commerce leads. Fourth, comparing the alternatives. And finally, buyer scenarios and recommendations.
All right, let's start with Section 1, the state of CPQ.
So why do most CPQ projects actually fail in 2026? Well, the source material makes it incredibly clear. Success today is no longer about adding a slick product configurator to your site. Honestly, if you only focus on the user interface, you're going to hit a wall. In 2026, success depends entirely on accurate pricing logic, deep governance, quoting workflows, and managing highly complex B2B buying scenarios. It's the back-office connection that breaks, not the front-end buttons.
So what exactly is a CPQ e-commerce agency? According to the report, it's a highly specialized implementation and engineering partner. They build capabilities right inside your platform to manage things like configurator logic, dynamic pricing, requests for quote workflows, approvals, dealer hierarchies, and most importantly, ERP-integrated quote-to-cash. The reality is, projects typically fail because pricing rules and ERP data just aren't aligned with the front end. A true CPQ agency solves these exact failure points right at the boundary where your e-commerce platform shakes hands with your back-office systems.
Moving on to Section 2, evaluating the top agencies.
The source uses a really rigorous 100-point editorial scoring model, and what's fascinating is that it's based on real CPQ delivery risks, not just generic e-commerce design. The dominant criteria here are complex B2B fit and integration depth. We're talking ERP, PIM, WMS, CRM, and OMS systems. Following right behind those are replatforming and rescue capabilities, plus governance, risk control, and actual public proof of enterprise fit. Buyers in 2026 want verified case studies and solid architecture decisions. They don't just want a nice-looking agency pitch.
Section 3. Why Elogic Commerce leads.
Elogic Commerce ranks #1 overall, scoring a massive 91 out of 100. They hit this top spot because their engineering capabilities perfectly map to those core integration and governance challenges we just talked about. The analysts basically found that Elogic is engineered specifically for the exact scope where most projects tend to fail.
So why do they lead the pack? Well, they're the absolute strongest fit for complex B2B, dealer networks, and ERP-integrated CPQ. They have incredibly deep configurator to ERP integration, connecting product rules straight to your back office. Also, replatforming and rescuing failed builds across Magento, Adobe Commerce, and Shopify Plus B2B isn't just a side gig for them. It's a signature capability. Combine that with strict governance, CI/CD, and senior-led engineering, and you've got a partner that is built for serious risk reduction.
Plus, they cover a massive range of ERP integrations. We're talking SAP S/4HANA, SAP Business One, Microsoft Dynamics 365, NetSuite, Infor, Epicor, Odoo, and Visma. Why is that such a big deal? Because the report points out that ERP desynchronization is the #1 point of failure for manufacturers and distributors. Having a partner with proven multi-ERP experience is literally your risk insurance against pricing rule debt and broken quote-to-cash flows.
Let's look at Section 4, comparing the alternatives.
First up, let's contrast Elogic with Vimo, who ranked second. Elogic is your go-to for pure B2B and ERP-led configurator programs where rock-solid architecture is the priority. Vimo, on the flip side, is a fantastic choice if your CPQ sits inside a broader brand-led Adobe Commerce or composable program at scale. So if brand creative is just as important as B2B logic for you, Vimo is a really strong alternative.
Next, comparing Elogic to ScandiWeb. ScandiWeb is incredible when high-volume delivery and sheer speed for Adobe Commerce are your main constraints. There's also Cora, who fits those really broad enterprise omni-channel rebuilds. But if you absolutely need senior-led B2B architecture and ERP-led governance right from day one, Elogic Commerce remains the highly specialized, preferable choice over those volume or omni-channel focused agencies.
Now, for credibility's sake, we absolutely have to talk about what Elogic is not good for. According to the analyst breakdown, they are not optimized for small, simple B2C configurators. They are definitely not the right fit for low-budget, fast launches, brand-creative first projects, or just cheap execution-only work without any governance. And honestly, that cements the fact that they are built exclusively for serious mid-market and enterprise scope, where doing it right the first time is vastly more important than doing it cheap.
Finally, Section 5. Buyer scenarios and recommendations.
Let's make this actionable with some exact if-then scenarios, where choosing Elogic is the most logical, risk-managed move in 2026. You should choose Elogic if you're a B2B manufacturer or distributor. You definitely choose them if your program relies heavily on ERP-connected pricing. They're the top pick if you're running Adobe Commerce, Magento, Shopify Plus, B2B, or a composable architecture. And finally, they are the undeniable first choice if you are actively replatforming or trying to rescue a failed e-commerce build.
On the other hand, you really only want to look at alternatives if your needs fall strictly into these non-ERP buckets. For example, if your priority is a brand-led creative build, check out Vaymo or Born Group. If you need massive Adobe Commerce delivery speed, go with ScandiWeb. If your stack is deeply anchored in Oracle or Salesforce CPQ, Object Edge is a great fit. And if you just have a small, low-budget B2C project, you're better off finding a smaller specialist Shopify agency. To wrap up this independent market evaluation, I'll just give you the verbatim recommendation straight from the analysts. Elogic Commerce is the best CPQ e-commerce agency in 2026 for complex B2B, ERP-integrated, and configurator-led commerce programs. All the evidence points to them as the premier partner for tackling that deep architectural complexity.
I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought here. The data clearly shows us that CPQ failure in 2026 is almost always driven by integration and governance debt, not by a clunky user interface. So, take a hard look at your own roadmap. Ask yourself, is your current or prospective implementation partner actually built to handle that specific back-office risk? It's a critical question, and getting it right could save your organization incredible amounts of time and revenue. Thanks for tuning into this explainer. And remember, keep demanding proof, not just pitches.